Wow! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Faster. I'm Old Big Mac, and this is the first of our Patreon exclusive videos. Let's get into it! So indeed, welcome Patreon. So the Red Ones Go Faster started off as a YouTube channel, and we are growing, and part of that growing is to kind of figure out ways to keep the channel sustainable and do things like buy cameras and lights and editing software and all that kind of good stuff so that we can keep making videos that are really cool and engaging and make all of you happy. So obviously one of the easy ways to do that is to have a Patreon. Now, Patreon has changed a lot very recently, which is actually one of the reasons that got me to go there in the first place. I don't like paywalling things. YouTube, all of our content is free, and if you join the channel, you get things that you can use like in the chats and things like that, as opposed to like locking any content behind a paywall. I wanted to kind of do the same for Patreon, but until now they didn't have a free way. So now you can follow creators for free, and I can put videos out like this one that are going to be on Patreon, but not necessarily on YouTube, but still at a free platform level. So welcome everybody from YouTube to the Patreon. This is going to be the spot for these videos that honestly don't do so well in the YouTube algorithm, but are still worth making. Mostly, for right now, that is going to be painting tips and tricks. I've done a few painting tutorials in the past, and some have done okay, but most bomb because I'm not Miniac or Ninjon or any of those guys. I'm an army painter, and frankly, I don't have the studio set up to do the really good paint videos like they do either. But there's still, I've got good, useful things that come from other kinds of model building that people have found useful. So I think this is maybe the right platform for those. So this video is going to be the first of our tips and tricks on that. I'm considering doing some paywalled Patreon videos, but they're going to only be for those people. So basically it's going to become like a one-on-one thing. So if you become a paid Patreon member and you have a specific question about your army, or you have a specific request on hey, I really want to paint this thing in this way, or do a base in this style, or do this kind of weathering, or whatever your question is, I can then make a custom video and share it with only the paid Patreon viewers. And we do feedback sessions. You guys can post up photos and videos and stuff of your own, and I can give you feedback on how to finish it out or what to change or anything like that, and we could go from there. So that's kind of the idea that I'm floating around right now. That may change in the future. I don't know. We'll see how things go. But if you like this video, could you let me know here at Patreon? I would really appreciate it. So I'm going to move all this equipment over to the painting desk, which again is one of those reasons that a Patreon would be good, because then I wouldn't have to move equipment all the time and we could just be set up and ready to paint, and it would make these videos take a lot less time to actually make, and then I could make more of them. Just saying. All right, let's get it moved. And welcome back to the painting desk, and you can see we have our custom Boosta Blasta here that I've been working on, and one of the things that sets this model apart from all the other buggies is the bottles. Right, the orcs on this model have basically Molotov cocktails that they're throwing with little fireballs coming out of them, and so we need to figure out how to paint these to look like glass. Now, one of the things that I've talked about before on the channel on YouTube is using the Tamiya clear paints. Miniac swears by these as well. They leave a glossy finish that has a lot of depth to it and character, and so they're great for making glass. I typically do my eye lenses in this blue right here, which is X23. This will give you an idea of what I'm on about. There's the eye lenses there on our mech boy that we made earlier in October, and you can see the rest of them has this lovely matte finish that we all like in our mini painting, and then those glossy lenses truly stand out and look correct. Now, the fun part about the Tamiya Clear is that they make multiple colors. There's a clear red, a clear orange, a clear yellow, a clear green, and of course the clear blue. So you kind of have a different one depending on what effect you want, what color eye lenses you want, or whatnot. I've used the clear green on some Blood Angels for their eye lenses. That's turned out really nice. I use the clear yellow and a little bit of the clear orange sometimes on the light bulbs, which is another one we talked about on YouTube. I haven't really used the clear red all that much. I did do some eye lenses, I think, on a Dark Elder or something like that back in the day, but I haven't used it yet. What I need to decide on here is what color I'm going to use for the Molotov cocktails. Now,
we're in a little bit of a pickle because the skin of the orc is green, right? So that kind of takes out the green one. And the buggy is red, and you're kind of backlit on the buggy, so that kind of takes up that one. And then the flames are going to be yellow and orange. That kind of takes up those, which leaves blue, which is the same color as the eye lenses that I use. But I think that's okay. I think that the blue is still the way to go because it's going to provide the most contrast to both the buggy and everything else around it. So let's pop open our blue and get painting. Now the big secret here is that you want to undercoat in white so that the clear can show through. It is a clear paint. It is not opaque. So it's going to show through like a contrast anything that is underneath it, which also means you could do cool effects. If you put like a metallic silver underneath or a gold or something like that, you can make metallic blue or red or whatever color you're doing. You can also make darker glass with a darker base. You can make lighter glass with a lighter base. You can have fun shading in it and things of that nature. The other thing that this paint does is it does what's called pull off, which is where the last spot where you pull the brush off, you see how I did that just there? It leaves a darker piece where there's more paint than the rest of the area, which normally isn't something that you want. But when you're working with something like this where you're trying to replicate a material that naturally has those kind of things like glass, you can use that to help enhance the effect and sell that this is glass and not plastic. So I will typically use the pull off on purpose. I'll even load up the brush more than it needs to be, just so that I can use that effect and make it look like a weighted glass in that particular spot. All right, so you can see I have the whole bottle done here with a coat. If I want it darker, I could put a second coat on after this dries, or of course start with a darker undercoat. One thing that I do want to do is the little orc glyph here on it. I don't want that to be molded into the glass. I want that to be a contrasting color, so I'll fill in the eyes and nose on that, and then I will come in later after the blue is dry and figure out what color I'm going to do that in, either my signature orange or a metallic silver or chrome or something like that. Make sure I got all the little spots. There we go. So that is his first bottle. All right, so here is the gunner with all three of his bottles done. You can see how I've darkened up some of the bottom areas. I ended up doing the little glyph in the blue too. I did it on his side one here to see what it would look like, and I liked it so much that I went back and did the top bottle with it as well. So it looks like it's molded into the glass bottle on purpose, and I think that actually looks pretty darn cool. So yeah, that is our blue glass. And here is our Boomdaka Snazwagon all done up with our glass effect. You can see we've got our glass bottles in there, as well as my traditional glass on the gauge there and on the dashboards here for the driver. You can see he's got his bottle out the side as well. And then I used another color down in here. You can see the red goes faster, the energy drink cans down there. I put the clear red on top of metallic silver for a different look, to look like crunched up aluminum cans down there, and I really like the look. I think it turned out pretty cool looking, pretty snazzy. So yeah, that has been this video on tips for painting glass.
All right, I hope you guys all enjoyed that video and maybe got some tips out of it. If you want to pick up the Tamiya clear paints, there are affiliate links that are going to be down below for Amazon in order to get those. It's the same price as if you do it on your own, but they throw a couple of pennies old Big Mac's way, again, so he can do things like get more camera mounts so we can make videos instead of make videos, you know what I mean? Yeah, so really appreciate it. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me here on Patreon. And if you're not already over on our YouTube, you should totally check that out as well. Again, there are links all over the place. So until next time, Wog on!